We get asked when I'm starting off with jewelry what tools are necessary for the job. You don't need to start with everything. You can start with the basics. Today I'm going to show you how to rivet jewelry. What is riveting? It's a method of putting two pieces or more pieces of metal together without soldering, essentially. It's an essential part of making jewelry. It's a simple thing, but I'm going to break it down into a lot of detail. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jaco. Behind the camera, as always, Demaya. Let's get into it. I'm using two pieces of flat silver, and what I'm going to be doing with those, I'm making the marks where I'm going to be placing the rivets, just to give me a bit of a guideline so that I can choose where I want to make the holes. I mark it so that the drill has a pilot point to start from. I'm going to give you two ways I go about it. The first way is by using a little ball phrase. In this case I use like a 0.3 millimeter ball phrase. I'm using that because I've got a lot of control over that. And even if I'm slightly off, 0.3 is so small, my drill is definitely going to be bigger in this case, that I can then use a slightly bigger, maybe a 0.5 ball phrase, and just correct it. I can kind of shift it around without committing to anything. I'm always considering balance. So I'm working from the one angle, thinking that the ball phrase is going to pull that direction, and then I turn it around doing the same so that it corrects that motion. The second method that I use is a punch method. Whether you strike it with a hammer or you just use this punch that with a mechanism that kicks in. The only thing that you need to consider is the thickness of the material and the width of the material. You have a little bit more trauma on the metal with a punch. Everything I'm doing with caution. Starting with a smaller drill, and I'm going to go up in size until I reach the exact thickness of the wire. Now, there is no right size or wrong size of the wire. It has got to do with the proportions of the work that you're busy with. When you're putting the drill down and you're ready to commit, try and make sure that your angles are absolutely 90 degrees. And just a little tip on drilling, you want fast speed and really good lubrication on there. Going slow and pressing down on the drill is likely to break the drill. I use a little bit of super glue and put them together. Then I drill one single hole as if it's one thicker plate. Then I just heat them up or I just break them apart. And I know that when I put the rivet in there, that those two pieces will line up exactly as they were when I glued them up. When I make a hinged item, two parts coming together, you've got a central part and you've got two outer parts. I often go and draw from the one side, remove it, and then draw from the other side, and then pull that center part out and look at the little marks it's made on the center piece, and then drill it from either side, so to make sure that I can get everything to line up as good as possible. Yeah, so countersinking is the next step. So I remove a little bit from that edge and I create a little bit of a bigger hole, either with a diamond shaped burr or a ball burr, slightly bigger than the wire. The intention with that is so that I can form that wire, that excess wire at the end, into the cavity. I'm talking about using a rivet now, which is going to be flush, by the way. I'm not talking about where we have two beads on the ends of it. It comes down to the wire. Make sure that the wire is straight and make sure that the wire is annealed. Make sure the wire fits, go as tight as you possibly can, and allow that item to work itself into its position rather than having a loose item which will cause more wear and tear. So I've made these little cavities where if I bring the wire up to the edge and a little bit out and I flatten this little wire, it will fold into the cavity itself. But I don't need to do that on both sides. You could do it on both sides, but you don't need to. Just make a little ball by adding a little bit of flux on the wire and just heating up the front part of the wire so that it creates a little ball that will naturally, as you're pulling the wire through, fit into that cavity. And the benefit from doing this is you can really pull it tight into that cavity, knowing that you're just about perfect this side, and then just cut the metal off over here.
And how much would you leave?
About the thickness of the wire, or fractionally above that. I'll file that surface flat, trying to eliminate anything that might steer the wire in a different direction. If you've got too much wire and you're hammering it from the top, the wire will tend to bend. If you've got too little, it simply won't fill that cavity that you've made. I'm supporting that bottom section, you know, the ball part. We file that flat as well. Put that down at the bottom. Now that will be already wide and a little bit excessive, but I put that down and I work from the opposite end because I know that section is already half filled. The technique is I'm holding the hammer and I'm also putting my finger on top of it. You find the middle point with the hammer, and it's a very gentle drop. If you've been doing this for many times, you can really accurately get it. But if you're worried about it, for going maybe off the surface and hitting the surface that you're trying to preserve, go real slow. Just put it down, find your spot, push it down on top of it, and then once you know where you are, just lift it and drop it. And as you're moving it around, you can actually see the wire condensing into that little cavity you've made. And you might need to move the area around so that you know that you fill all parts of it. If it does start turning a little bit, you can bring it back by hammering it from the other side. Just get it right down in there. And when you get to the point where it's folded, you go straight into the center a little bit more and you stop. You'll find that this is a necessary skill in manufacturing as well as repair work. This is a functioning piece of jewelry. It moves. We're going to have wear and tear on it, but we want to make it last as long as possible. You need very, very little to achieve this technique, or to understand or to make this technique practical in your jewelry world, which makes it accessible to people that are just starting out or even just being curious about jewelry itself. I hope that you found some value in this video. If you've got any questions, please let us know in the comments below. We will see you in the next video. From Demai and myself, cheers.